Alright friends, it's been a long time since I did a video update, so I thought, hey, it's about time to get one out since we're back in Ukraine for, over a month and a half now. So I want to give you just a few updates of what is going on in Ukraine as well as what's going on in our ministry. So let's start with some things that are going on in Ukraine right now. October 1st, in Donetsk was the beginning of the school year. They were delayed a month because of the fighting. And you might think that everything is peaceful now because there's a ceasefire, but you know what? The ceasefire basically means things are a little bit quieter than they were before. Although, honestly, some of the reports that I've heard from Donetsk, especially around the airport in Donetsk, they've said some of the heaviest fighting that they've had has been during the ceasefire. So anyway, October 1st, first day of school, 2 rockets landed right in the city. One right in a schoolyard, killed a couple of people. The other one right near a school, and there was a city bus that was going by. And so you had about, I think, 10, 12 people that were killed in those 2 rockets that landed in Donetsk on October 1st. And unfortunately, it looks like that was the work of the rebel separatists backed by Russia. So appreciate your prayer for Eastern Ukraine, for peace there. And I'm going to tell you a little bit later, I'll tell you about some of the work that we're doing with the Ukraine Crisis Fund in Donetsk and Lugansk. But that's kind of the situation in Eastern Ukraine. There's still fighting going on. Some of it has calmed down a little bit, but it is by far over. It is not over, okay? And tensions are still very high, and people are still dying. So we need your prayers for Eastern Ukraine. By the way, another note on that, the last post that I did on our blog, I put a list of churches that have been seized by rebels in Eastern Ukraine or have been damaged or just completely destroyed by fighting. So there's I think at least 6 churches that have been seized and another 3 or 4 that have been damaged heavily by fighting. So appreciate your prayers for those churches too. Check out that post and pray for those churches as well. Okay, a couple of things in our ministry here in Ukraine I want to share with you. One is Christina has been working with our translation team this week very hard. In fact, pretty much a number of the days this week she's been gone. I've been home, which actually was good because I was kind of feeling sick. And but anyway, I was home with the kids, and she's been working on finishing our translation of our online courses. And this is really important because we are going to be offering these courses beginning early next year. These are theological training courses that we're going to be offering online to the Russian-speaking world, and so it'll go further than Ukraine to Russia, well, anywhere there are Russian-speaking people. And I really would ask your prayers about this. I've been encouraged by the progress they've been making in the translation, but once the translation is done, we have to get it up into our online platform. And here's the reason why I think this type of training is going to be so valuable for churches here right now in Ukraine. It's because really the upheaval that we have seen in the last 6-9 months in Ukraine, it's just made it so difficult for people to get any kind of theological training in a formal sense. Even in Donetsk, where the Donetsk Christian University was taken by rebels, but you can't really easily take something that's online. I mean, you can't seize it. Rebels can't seize it. And so people still have access online, and this will give access to many, many people to solid biblical theological training that otherwise they just wouldn't be able to have the access, either because they've been forced out of their homes, or they can't travel to that place, to that school to get theological training. So I think this is going to really open up the doors for a lot of people to receive solid biblical theological training. So I appreciate your prayers concerning that. I'm really excited about getting that online. I already had a number of people say, hey, Caleb, when is that going online? Because I want to take a class. And so be in prayer for our online distance education program. Okay. Also, coming up, a little closer this month, we are going to be going to Budapest, our whole family, for a conference with our mission. And sort of connected to that, we don't have a car, and we're planning to drive, but we don't have a car, and we are planning, hopefully next week, to get a car. And we had a car that we sold because Ukrainian roads are not very kind to vehicles here, and we really needed something that was reliable and would be able to get our family long distances if needed, especially with the situation in Ukraine. I mean, honestly, things are peaceful here right now in Odessa, and we're very thankful for that, but we also know that things could change very quickly. And so we're kind of trying to be ready for that, and to know that at a moment's notice we might have to leave the city and go to someplace that's safer. And we also know that if we do have to leave, that we can't necessarily depend on rail travel or on airplanes or public buses. Those things might not be available. And so that's one of the reasons why we need to get a vehicle that will be able to transport our family safely and long distances. So if you want to help with that, we still have a little bit of fundraising left that we need to do so that we can get that vehicle. But hopefully next week I'll be going to the car market north of here a ways and see if we can get a vehicle that will suit our family well. So that's one thing that you can keep in your prayers as well. And then finally, I want to just say a big thank you for your contribution, for everyone who has contributed to the Ukraine Crisis Fund. Over the last 3-4 months, we've had about $35,000 that has been donated to that fund. And I can tell you that we haven't used all of those funds yet, but we've used many of those funds. We've used them to help. I wrote a post about the church in Antratsit that was seized by rebels just about a month ago. I personally was able to talk to one of the church leaders there, and we were able to help so that that ministry that they are doing with disabled people in in Antratsit, which is Lugansk region, would continue. We've helped a couple of other churches in Donetsk. We've also been able to help some orphanages, some refugee orphans. And whenever we do anything like that, that's always in connection with a church or a Christian ministry. So it's not just purely providing funds or providing, need for physical needs, but also it is in connection with someone who can provide for spiritual needs as well. We've also helped a number of refugee families here in Odessa. In fact, our church, I believe, right now has about 20 refugees that are staying in our facilities. And sometimes they kind of rotate through because then they find other places to stay. But we definitely have had a lot of refugees coming through our church building as well. So appreciate all the gifts to that. And if you want to continue to give to that fund, there's just a lot of needs here. I mean, there are obviously more needs than we can possibly meet. But we're evaluating those needs and trying to help any way we can, especially where we have a connection with a local church and where we can not only meet physical needs but also help meet spiritual needs of people as well. So appreciate your prayers as we continue to do that. Appreciate your love, your support. Keep praying, and we will keep ministering here. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. I talked with a reporter, a writer from World Magazine a couple of weeks ago, and they wrote a story about what is going on in Ukraine. Actually, part of it about what is going on in Ukraine, as well as I think Iraq and Israel. But anyways, a cover story for the October 4th issue of World Magazine. So check it out. It includes an interview with me in that cover story, and I highly recommend World Magazine. It's a great magazine with a Christian perspective on the news and events of things that are going on in the world. So check it out. World Magazine, October 4th issue, cover story, features a interview with me. All right, friends, that is it for now. So be blessed and keep praying for us. Blessings.